Hello, Pensacola. Hello, Florida. We love Florida. There's something going on out there. You know, there's a big crowd of people. You know, the other side's getting a little nervous. They're a little bit shaky right now. They're saying, this is worse than 4 years ago, they're saying. It's really great to be with you. These crowds are incredible. These crowds are incredible. These crowds are... I mean, you can't see it from here. There are people on that side that go all the way down, longer than football fields. Way over there. We're also joined by many incredible patriots from the great state of Alabama. We got to say, Alabama. We love Alabama, right? Thank you, Alabama. 11 days from now, we are going to win my home state of Florida, and we are going to win 4 more years in the White House, 4 more great years, 4 more successful years. Last night, the American people saw the contrast between a 5-decade career politician, Sleepy Joe, right? How do you think he did in the debate last night? He was sharp as a tack. Who is fighting only for himself, and a businessman who's fighting for you. I'm just fighting for you. Biden works for big tech, big media. They're his boss. They're his boss. They keep it nice and quiet. He's got a scandal, corrupt politician. They keep it out. They don't want to let any story go, and I have to give great credit to a paper called the New York Post. I got to give him great credit. His big donors, I'd be the greatest of all time at raising money, but I don't want to call up every guy on Wall Street and say, you got to give me $10 million. They'd all give it to me. I would have numbers. I don't need the money. Last time, we did it with a very small fraction of the money that crooked Hillary used, right? No, but they were saying he raised a lot of money. That means he's making deals. It's so easy. I work only for the American people. I work only for you. Joe Biden uses his public office to enrich himself and his family. I use public office to bring jobs and wealth back to American workers and American families. With your vote, we will continue to slash regulations, lower drug prices, favored nations. You know what I'm doing. The drug companies don't exactly like me too much lately. Big Pharma. You know what? Who cares? I'm doing the right thing. Favored nations. You'll see numbers 50, 60, 70% lower. This is the first time in 52 years last year where drug prices came down. Not much, 1%, but you know what? First time they've ever come down. But now we're going for the big one. We pay the most of any country in the world by far. We're going for favored nations where we pay the lowest price anywhere in the world to matched. We support our police, our great law enforcement, our police. We protect our Second Amendment, which is under siege, but not with me, it's not. We defend our borders, maintain energy independence. Did you hear Joe last night made a big mistake? He made a big mistake. I said, oh, you're against oil. Well, yes, sir, we would like to get it. Oh, I said, thank you. Texas, are you watching? Right? Pennsylvania, are you watching? Ohio, are you watching? And then today they came, well, actually, we're not really against it. We don't know. They didn't know what the hell happened. No, I think he should have lost about 5 or 6 states with that one. That was not good. It was his last, that was the last question. It looked like he made it. It looked like it was going to be okay. He got off the stage, going back to his basement. And then they hit him with the energy question. They hit him with a thing called oil. And he said, no, we want to wean ourselves off by 2025. I think he meant later than that, but he got the dates mixed up. And somehow they didn't like that in Texas and Pennsylvania and a lot of other places. Even you don't like it. You know why you don't like it? Because you like your gasoline at $2 and less a gallon, right? You ever think it's here? That's like, you know what, $2 and less, that's like a big tax cut, of which you've had the biggest in the history of our country, by the way. Then you want to ensure more products are proudly stamped with the phrase, made in the USA. That's what we're doing. We will deliver record prosperity, epic job growth, 11.4 million people over the last few months. It's a record. A safe vaccine that quickly ends this horrible pandemic, and we're rounding the turn. With or without the vaccine, we have the vaccines, they're going to be great. But with or without it, we're rounding the turn. Normal life, that's all we want, fully resuming. We want normal life to fully resume. And that's happening. Don't forget, we had the greatest year in the history of our country last year. And then we got hit with the China plague, right? We got hit with the China plague. We signed a great trade deal with China. In fact, 3 weeks ago, they bought the largest amount of corn, the largest amount of soybeans, beef, everything. Largest deal ever, largest, because they know we're not happy. We're not happy because what they did to us. You know, they stopped it from going into the rest of China, but they didn't stop it from coming out to the world, us, Europe, the rest of the world. 188 countries, the China plague. But we have the most successful year that we've ever had. Next year is going to be more successful than last year. That's where we're headed. Super big. I gave the largest tax cut in tax reform in American history, and we will cut taxes again for the middle class even more. By contrast, Sleepy Joe Biden will give you the biggest tax hike in history. He's looking to give you the biggest. Think of it. Does anybody have a 401k? Because you can just throw it right out the window if that happens. This election is a choice between a Trump super recovery and a Biden super depression, because that's what you're going to have. It's a choice between a boom and a lockdown. Did you hear him last night? Oh, I'd lock down the country. We're not locking down anything. We're not going to lock down the country. We've learned about the disease. We understand the disease. We understand the disease. I understand it better than you. I had it. What the hell was that all about, right? Sir, you've tested positive. I said, tested positive for what? But you know, the doctors took great care of me. They're great. Walter Reed and Johns Hopkins. I had more doctors than I ever saw in my life. When you're president, you have a lot of doctors. You're laying down, you got doctors all over the place. Their hands are in every part of your body. And I'm saying, I don't like it. But I wasn't feeling great, and they gave me something that was unbelievable. Next day, I wake up and I say, man, I feel like Superman. Rip it off. Let's go. I got to get back to work for the American people. We got to get back. Right? We got to get back to work for the American people. No, it was great. I mean, we've learned so much about this disease, and young people. Barron, my son, Barron. The doctor said, sir, Barron tested positive. Like about 15 seconds later, he said, sir, he's all cured. He just, I don't know. They're young. They have a very strong immune system. What can I tell you? I said, Barron, I'm jealous. As you've heard from his own mouth last night, Joe Biden will delay the vaccine, prolong the pandemic, close your schools, and shut down our country. We're not doing that. We're having a record comeback. And that's despite the Democrat governors not wanting to open up New York, Michigan. You take a look at, Michigan, we won a court case. They said it was unconstitutional. She really ran a tight ship. The only one that was allowed to do whatever he wanted was her husband. Other than that, very tight ship. But North Carolina should be allowed to open up. Pennsylvania should be allowed to open up. You have these governors, they've gone wild. By the way, on November 4th, they'll say everybody can open up. They're doing this to try and deflate the numbers. But the numbers are so good, it won't matter. It's not going to matter. And you're going to see a number on November 1st. It's GDP, a big deal. And the Atlanta Fed just said they project 35%. This is many times higher than any number in history, like 8%, maybe 9%. 35%, because we're coming back. And the reason we can do this is we set up such a strong foundation for the last 3 years. We're coming back, and we're coming back stronger, and next year will be one of the best economic years we've ever had. But Biden would bury you in regulation, dismantle your police departments, dissolve our borders. You don't have borders, you don't have a country, right? Confiscate your guns, want to get rid of your Second Amendment. If I'm not here, you don't even have a Second Amendment. You wouldn't have it. Eliminate private health care. 180 million people have incredible private health care. They want to end it. Terminate religious liberty. Destroy the suburbs with regulations where they want to put low-income housing projects into the suburbs. I don't think so. That would be the end of the American dream. And they'll abolish fracking. You saw Joe. He said, there will be no fracking. This is for a year. There will be no fracking. No fracking. He said it like 15 times. Then what happens? He gets lucky and he wins, because Elizabeth Warren, if she would have left 2 days early, Crazy Bernie would have run, right? But Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, took a lot of votes away, right? She took a... So nobody talks about this. But to me, it's very interesting. If she were a true radical left, she should have gotten out before Super Tuesday. Bernie would have gotten more votes. Didn't need many, because she didn't get too many. She didn't do too good. But she got enough. They would have all come from him. He would have won every single state. But I think we like it better this way. What do you think? You like it better? And we had, last 4 years ago, we got a lot of Bernie voters. Bernie, I tell you, Bernie is one guy he doesn't mind losing. He is a guy that doesn't mind losing, because 4 years ago they took advantage of him, and now this time was even worse. It's even worse. But Biden also challenged me to find the tape of him desperately repeating and pledging to ban fracking and fossil fuels. So what happened? He said, I never said that. I never said it. Never. And I said, no, you did say it, right? Everybody heard him say it. We all during the primary. Then what do they have? 27 people, right? 27. How did we ever emerge? Here we are. Here we are. Together. Here we are. Remember? We had 17. But they had 27. They had a lot of people. They had Mike Bloomberg. He stood up and he wanted to run. He didn't do too good. Pocahontas took him out pretty quickly. One question. There goes $2 billion down the drain. So, Joe, I'm going to grant your request, because he said, I did not say that. I did. He said it many times, by the way. I don't want to bore you with playing too many of the times. But he said no. Then he gets in. He goes to Pennsylvania, and he learns. Somebody explains that that's a big fracking state. It's a big, very big energy state. 1 million people. And he said, oh, yes, we will allow fracking. This is a man with great heart. We will allow fracking. And then he said he never said what he said for the last year and a half. So let's take a look and see whether or not he said it and what he did once he got to Pennsylvania. Go ahead, put it up. Where is it?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels,
wow, look at that,
coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those. I guarantee you. We're going to end fossil fuel. No more, no new fracking.
I'd gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
Well, like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Now, we have about 15 other ones, but we can't bore you. He said no fracking, then he says fracking. This is not what we need as a president, for a lot of other reasons, too. That's like the least of them. While I'm president, America will remain, for the first time, energy independent. We're energy independent. And we will continue to be the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. We're #1, bigger than Russia, bigger than Saudi Arabia by a lot. By a lot. By a lot. Joe Biden has made a corrupt bargain in exchange for his party's nomination. He has handed control of his party over to socialists, communists, Marxists, left-wing extremists. You see them all summer long running up and down the street in Portland, which we could stop in about 15 minutes. All they have to do is call us. And they're filled with hatred, venom, and rage for our country. If Biden wins, the flag-burning rioters on the streets will be running your federal government. They will decide which businesses can exist and which will be outlawed. That's what they want to do. They will decide which rights you can keep and which will be revoked. They will re-educate your children. They will cancel your culture. Although we're making it very hard on them. You saw the withdrawals. I've made them all over the country. They wanted to re-educate our people. They wanted to disrespect our people. It was racist. It was terrible what they were doing. They'll order you to stay at home while letting rioters and MS-13 killers roam free. You saw that. Stay home. Don't go to church. They don't want you to go to church. But if you want to riot in the middle of a main street, you can do it. You want to riot on Fifth Avenue, there's no problem. Can't go to church, but you can riot. In fact, we usually call these friendly protests because you're not allowed to have political parties, right? Now, in this case, you can, because we're in a place called Florida, and we have a great governor. We have a great governor. Did he say a few words? Did he do a good job? But we don't want to hear from him again, right? No, Ron's doing a great job, thank you. The only one better is his first lady. There's no question about it. Great couple. Eddie's great. No, but they have in some states where the only thing you can do is protest. In other words, you can't do anything, but if you want to protest. So we call in certain states this, we call it a protest. It's a very friendly protest. It's great people, but we call it a protest, and nobody's ever had crowds like we've had. If you want your children to grow up in a free nation where they can speak their minds, practice their religion, and live by their values, then you must defeat sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left. You have to do it. Reject left-wing fascism and vote for American freedom. Vote for America first, because that's what we're all about, America first. And you know, when other countries come in to see me, I say, I'm sorry, it's America first. You know, they've been our allies. Forget about our enemies. Our enemies, obvious, but our allies have taken tremendous advantage of us on trade, on the military. We protect them for nothing. Not anymore, by the way. You know, in NATO, I said, you got to pay. We get $130 billion a year more from me. They didn't do it for 15 years. It went down, $130 billion, going up to $410 billion. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. My biggest fan of the whole world is the Secretary General Stoltenberg. Secretary General Stoltenberg of NATO, he said, I've never seen anything like it. So they weren't paying. They were delinquent, many of them. 7 were paying. The rest weren't, and now they're paying, and or most of them, or at least they're coming up rapidly. They were delinquent, to use an old word. If you're a moderate Democrat or liberal who knows that your party has gone totally off the rails, you only have to do one thing: join the Republican Party, but more importantly, vote Republican. Stay where you are. And you know, the numbers are coming in extremely strong. I don't want to talk too much about it, because there's a lot of cameras back there. That's a lot of fake news back there. A lot of fake news. But you know what happens? We have the great red wave, and that comes at the end when everybody goes out and votes. Right? But let me just be very nice, because I don't want to go too far with this, because I'm watching all these people. Oh, well, the president maybe isn't doing. We're doing so much better than we were 4 years ago, and we did great. We did. We'll take that. But we're doing, thank you. I feel the same way about you. Sounds like a nice guy. Sounds like a nice man. But the votes are coming in, and we're way ahead of where we're supposed to be. In fact, in some of the states, we're more than even, and we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be like 80-20 behind, and we're even, and in some cases, we're ahead. And they're saying, what's going on? And they say, like in Texas, a lot of people are showing up. This is great. This could be the end of Trump. Unfortunately, there are people. Okay? They got the sash, they got the hat, they got the whole deal. Now, I think we're going to do very well, you know. Remember that? We had the same thing last time. This time it's even greater. But we had the fake polls. And we have some real polls. We're up 2 in Michigan. That's pretty good, you know. Considering it was decades before somebody won Michigan, we won it last time. Remember that? Donald Trump has won the great state of Michigan. Their heads exploded. Won Michigan. They go, did they just say he won Michigan? That hasn't been done in many, many decades. But we're doing great. We're doing much better than we did last time. In fact, we're leading everywhere. I think we're leading everywhere. I'll tell you what, North Carolina doing great. We think in Pennsylvania doing great. They got to be very careful in Philadelphia. They play games in Philadelphia, and they won't let us watch the count in Philadelphia. Remember, we had a certain Republican running a number of years ago, got almost no votes in Philadelphia. It doesn't work that way. So we're watching Philadelphia. Mark Meadows, we will please watch Philadelphia, Mark Meadows, because I don't like what I'm hearing about Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. I went to school in Philadelphia. I love it. But you know what? I don't like what I see going on in terms of what's gone on over the past and probably what's going on. Think of it. They fought like hell that we can't watch them count the vote. What's wrong with watching? Why can't we have poll watchers? And so we're in court trying to have poll watchers in Philadelphia. But we're doing great in Pennsylvania. Got to watch Philadelphia. We're doing great all over the place. We're doing really good in Iowa. People don't know it, but we're doing great. How could Iowa not go with us when I've given farmers $28 billion? Thank you, China, very much, okay? From China. And ethanol and everything else. No, we're doing great in Iowa. We're doing great. I mean, we're doing great. But we're really doing tremendous in Florida, so I just want to let you know that. Alabama, by the way, your neighbor in Alabama. Whoa. Alabama. Well, wait, how many people here are from Alabama? Whoa. Whoa. How many people here are from Florida? Alabama has been great. I'm up so much in Alabama, right? And you have a great candidate, the coach. You know, a coach, another great coach. He's won 3 national championships. Urban Meyer, I was talking to him. We're talking about your coach / Senate candidate, which hopefully will be soon. And Urban said, not only is he a great guy, he's a great coach. He's a great coach. And he's going to be a fantastic senator, so that's good. So say hello to him, Alabama. I'm glad I knew about this whole deal in terms of your location. Can you imagine if I didn't call out Alabama for being a great state? Could you imagine? I'd be in big trouble. I'd be in big trouble. No, we're way up in Alabama. Alabama has been good for day one. I'm voting early tomorrow in Florida, and I urge every one of you to do the same. Go and vote. I'm here to vote. We just left the Villages. Did you ever hear of the Villages? Now, those are Trump fans. They get in those golf carts, and they will take on anyone. Nobody messing with them. Thank you. The first thing, crazy Nancy Pelosi and crying Chuck. Have you ever seen Sherman? Every time he wants to put on, he cries. We call him Crying Chuck. But I've known him I've known him so long. I gave him one of his first contributions, maybe his first. Can you believe it? Long time ago. I've known him for a long time. I never saw him cry. He only cries in front of a large crowd. It's an amazing thing. But the first thing that Biden and Crazy Nancy and Crying Chuck, first thing they do, they'll want to pack the Supreme Court of the United States with radical left judges who will eliminate your Second Amendment. Now, by the way, if you're pro-life, they will wipe that out so fast, they'll wipe out every one of your rights. They're going to pack it. They're going to pack your court. They're going to get rid of the filibuster. They're going to do things like you wouldn't believe. They're going to add D.C., so they'll pick up another couple of senators, right? They'll add D.C. and a congressman or two. No, we can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. You know, one of the reasons they say I got elected was because I put out a list of 25 great conservative judges. And a lot of people, they said 22% of the people voted for me. I never believed that, but the fact is, I guess it must be so. But Joe he won't even say whether or not he's going to pack the court. You know why? Because he has no idea. Other people are telling him, Joe, you're going to pack the court. Okay, yes, sir. And Joe, he doesn't know. You know, you could have 16, 18, 19, 20, 21 judges. It's crazy. He's got to give us a list because nobody ever says this. They say you got to say about packing. You can't vote for him if he's going to pack the court. And you can't vote for him unless he gives a list where he swears that he is going to take people only from that list. And it has to be a sane list, not a radical left crazy list. And he's not even, people aren't even talking to him about that. He has no idea who he's going to put on. How about if you had a Supreme Court with radical left judges? We would have an entirely different country. So he's got to give us a list and he's got to talk about it, you know? They didn't want to talk about it last night at the debate. They should have mentioned. How did I do last night, by the way? Okay. You know, when you love your country, it's sort of easy to do. Somebody said, that's it. You know, we had a tremendous number of people watching Super Bowl type numbers, I guess, right? Bigger. Because people like aren't happy with the NFL right now. You know that, right? They're not happy. They're not happy, but hopefully they'll be starting to respect our flag and respect our country. That's starting to happen. Look at basketball. The finals were down 71%. You know why? Because people want respect for our nation, for our flag. The radical Biden-Harris agenda is projected to slash the typical American income by $6,500 over a very short period of time. That's a middle-class nightmare. For the last 47 years, Joe Biden has been outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars. We're bringing them back. 19 years. We're bringing them all back. They're coming back. Except where we keep the oil. We're keeping some oil. Where we keep the oil, we're leaving a few. In 2016, Florida voted to fire this depraved political establishment. And you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first, making America great again. And you've seen over the last 2 weeks, Joe Biden is a corrupt politician, and he's compromised, fully compromised. China is desperate for Biden to win, because if Biden wins, China wins, and if China wins, China will own America. They will own, and they're not playing games. They don't want me to win. Did you see where Russia and Iran are going? Here we go, Russia again. You know? How about this, Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff? A perfect watermelon head. He looks just like a watermelon. He goes, I believe that the laptop was conceived and dedicated by Russia. Everyone say, Russia again? Oh, Russia again? No, it's not Russia. DNI, they came out, they said, not Russia. But you know what it is? I call it the laptop from hell, right? There's more stuff in that laptop, and they say that you haven't seen anything yet. This corruption is exactly why I decided to run for president in the first place. One of the reasons. One of the reasons. For years I watched one betrayal after another as politicians like Joe Biden sold out American workers at every turn, shattering the lives of millions of American families while their families they just raked in millions of dollars. Biden goes to China, the son comes in, takes $1.5 billion to manage. He goes to Ukraine, right? He gets $183,000 a month to sit on a board. Well, he must have vast energy knowledge. No, he doesn't know anything about energy. This young person right in the front row knows more about energy than he does. And then Biden says, we're not giving you $1 billion. We're not giving you the $1 billion unless you get rid of the prosecutor that's investigating this company that my son's on, and unless you get rid of this prosecutor that's looking into my son. And they say, what do you mean? We're not giving you the $1 billion from the United States. And they get rid of the prosecutor. He goes, whoa, let them have the money. And that's okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. And there are many other instances. This is corrupt and corruption like nobody's ever seen. So I couldn't sit by and watch that. I couldn't sit by and watch these horrible trade deals that are ripping off America all the time. I couldn't sit back and watch China year after year after year. Hundreds of billions of dollars they made. And we have a much different attitude toward China now, much different. They are coming after me, a lot of people in Washington. By the way, nobody's ever gone through what I've gone through. Nobody. No president's ever gone through this. No president. Anybody else would have gone to a corner, sat down in the corner of a room, put their thumb in their mouth, and say, Mommy, Mommy, take me home, please, take me home. Nobody's ever gone through a fake impeachment based on a perfect phone call. The phone call was perfect. Based on a phony statement made by some people. Did you ever see Shifty Schiff get up in front of Congress and imitate my call? Except it had nothing to do with my call. But by that time, they were already, that ship had sailed. But it was great. We went up. People appreciate what we go through. And people now see the corruption in Washington, the corruption in the media, because the media is just as corrupt as anybody on earth. And I would say that big tech is not distinguishing itself. I mean, they're not exactly doing so great in making themselves look legit. How about big tech? They don't want to put something on, they don't put it on. But you know what? Can I tell you what? People are wise to it. They're wise to it. They see what's happening. So they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you. I'm standing up for this country. I'm standing up for the United States of America, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. That's what you wanted. And if I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, and by the way, if I did, we would have lost a long time ago. It's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fought harder than any president in the history of this country. Joe Biden spent his entire time in the Senate, long, long days, hours, nights, working to cut your Social Security. You don't know about that. And to cut your Medicare. People don't know about that. He denies it. He denied it last night. He denied it last night. So today, I want to show you a second clip. You know, I'm into clips.
Yeah. You're right here.
Take a look.
Yeah. Have you been on the floor of the Senate?
Whoa.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right here with me.
Yeah.
Have you been on the floor of the Senate? You were in the Senate for a few years.
Yeah.
Time and time again, talking about the necessity, with pride, about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting veterans programs.
No.
You never said that.
No.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans spending. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Look, here's the deal.
You're an honest guy. Why don't you just tell the truth here? We all make mistakes.
I am telling the truth.
And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Joe, let me repeat it again. I want you just to be straight with the American people. I am saying that you have been on the floor of the Senate time and time again talking about the need to cut Social Security, Medicare, and veterans programs. Is that true or is that
No,
not
it's
true?
not true. What
That is not true?
That is not true.
I meant veterans spending. I meant every single solitary thing. in the government.
Everything was on the table. I did not support any of those cuts in Social Security or in veterans.
Whoa. Everything was on the table. All right, you're right. You just said it. Including, in your judgment, cuts to Social Security and veterans.
In order to get the kinds of changes we need on other things related.
Joe,
but we did not cut it.
I know, because people like me helped stop that. All that I would say to the American people, go to YouTube. It's all over the place. Joe said it many, many times. I'm surprised. You know, you can defend it or change your mind on it, but you can't deny the reality.
So when I said last night he tried to cut Social Security, he said he didn't. Just like he said he never talked about fracking. Look at that. There it is. There it is. Thank you, Bernie. I appreciate it, Bernie. Thank you very much. Bernie Sanders, everybody. The great Bernie Sanders. As president, I will always protect your Medicare and I will always protect your Social Security, okay? One of the issues most important to me is taking care of our great, amazing veterans, and we have a lot of them here tonight, right? Under Biden and Obama, our veterans were neglected, mistreated, abused, and left on the secret wastelands. That's what they were. It was just a wasteland. They were on waiting lists forever. Nothing got done. They'd have to wait for doctors for 2 weeks, 4 weeks. The VA's Office of Inspector General found that over 300,000 veterans died under the last administration waiting for care. When I came into office, I signed the VA Accountability Act. More than 11,500 VA workers who were not giving our veterans the kind of care and respect that they deserved, we said, get out, you're fired. Get out. You couldn't fire anybody. They could be sadists, they could be thieves. You couldn't fire anybody. We got it passed. It's called VA accountability. It was a big deal. For 42 years they tried to get it done. We got it done. Then to help veterans get the care they need, when they need it, we approved Veterans Choice and we made it permanent. And now 91% approval rating in the VA. It's never happened before. And for our veterans, the days of the deadly wait lists that you had under Joe Biden are over. So thank you to the veterans. Great people. Thank you very much. We also secured record funding for the VA, including $9.6 billion for mental health services in 2020. Every VA medical facility now offers same-day emergency mental health care. We have dramatically expanded telehealth for our nation's veterans, which is a big, great thing. And we even set up a White House VA hotline, which I promised as a candidate, has fielded more than, right now, 460,000 calls. They actually call into the White House, successfully resolving 96% of veterans' concerns and problems. We've also taken strong action to protect our veterans during the global pandemic. When the China virus arrived, we launched the largest mobilization since World War II. Our early and aggressive action saved more than 2 million lives. Remember this, Biden kept saying, oh, we should have acted quicker, except when I closed it down, the ban to China. That was in January. 2 months later, he was saying I shouldn't have done it. It's just nonsense. And by the way, when he did his H1N1, he calls it the opposite, right? The swine flu. It was one of the great, far less lethal, by the way, but it was one of the great catastrophes. Nobody knew what the hell they were doing. They had no clue. We pioneered incredible therapies and reduced the fatality rate 85%. Think of that. And here I am, I'm here. We saved tens of millions of jobs by passing the largest financial rescue package in history, totaling over $3 trillion. We saved so much, and a lot went to this great state. We're fighting to get stimulus checks for American workers. Nancy Pelosi wants to give stimulus checks to illegal aliens. We don't want that. And to large bailout states. She wants to bail out states that are not doing well. Unlike Florida and unlike Alabama, states that are not doing well. I'm working to make the antibody treatment I received available to anybody that needs it free, because it wasn't your fault. We'll have 100 million vaccine doses before the end of the year, and maybe substantially before, and that will help. It's going away anyway. We're rounding that curve. We're rounding that corner, but the vaccine will help it. It'll speed it up. Joe Biden's plan will crush America. My plan will crush the virus. We're going to get back to normal. We just want to be where we were 7 months ago. We will eradicate this pandemic and defeat the scourge from China once and for all. So we're joined today by incredible people. Ron DeSantis, you said hello to, and Casey, you said hello to, but I just want to tell you, you have a great governor and you have a great, great First Lady. Thank you very much. He is a great governor, I'll tell you that. And Casey is fantastic. So, we have a warrior, and he's a good guy, but he loves to fight, and he loves this state, and he loves fighting for Florida, and he loves fighting for our country, and his name is Representative Matt Gaetz. Where is he? Where is he? What a good guy he is. Thank you, Matt. Good. They like you, Matt. And Congressman Neil Dunn, a real warrior. Thank you very much. Thank you, Congressman. You're looking good. You're looking good. Thank you. Your state's Chief Financial Officer, Jimmy Petronas. Jimmy, thank you. Jimmy, how are the finances doing? Okay, I think so. Pretty good in Florida, right? Every time the governor comes, I'll tell you, if something happens, if it rains, like a little rain, sir, could I see you? I say, talk over the phone. No, I have to come up. It's the Panhandle or it's someplace. Sir, could we have 250 million? Why? It rained. Now, when there's a hurricane, then they're talking about the big stuff, right? The billions. But I've come through every single time for this state, right? Every single time, right, Jimmy? And candidate for Alabama's first congressional seat, Jerry Carl. Where's Jerry? You look good, Jerry. Good. How's it going? Good? All right. Well, you have my total endorsement. You know that, so go get him. Go get him. Tonight, I also want to express my love and support for all the families here on the Panhandle who were affected by Hurricane Sally and other recent storms. You've been hit a lot. But we're there whenever you get hit. I'm right behind that storm, right behind it, and we take care of it. We take care of it. Last month, I approved a major disaster declaration for the state of Florida, and together we will rebuild the Panhandle stronger than ever before. We're doing it right now, stronger and better. Rebuilt, stronger. We do plenty of others, but I won't tell you about everything because we don't have enough time. I could be here all night about what we're doing for Florida and for Alabama. For decades, our politicians spent trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, and defending foreign borders. But now we are finally protecting our nation, rebuilding our cities, and we are bringing our jobs, our factories, and our troops back home to the USA. Enough already, enough. Coming back, a lot of them coming back. They're coming back, our troops. They're coming back fast. We have not only achieved energy independence, we've done it while protecting our pristine environment. The environment's very important. I said last night, we want the cleanest water, we want the cleanest air. We want things, you know, carbon emissions are now at a 35-year low. And we're not in the Paris Accord. We don't feel like spending trillions of dollars and destroying our businesses, okay? How's it doing for Paris? Not so well. I recently signed an order placing a moratorium on offshore drilling right off the coast of Florida. Your governor asked for it. Your 2 senators. I tell you what, Rick Scott, Marco, where's Marco? He's here someplace, and Rick Scott, they asked for it. They all wanted it, and we got it. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history, and we are finishing the wall with nearly 400 miles already built, and this is the wall they wanted. This is the wall the Border Patrol wanted. And we now have just about the safest southern border we've ever had, but we'll be finished very soon with the wall. And by the way, Mexico is paying for the wall, just so you understand. You know, they like to say. And I made one mistake. I should have said, we will never, ever build a wall. Then the Democrats would have said, oh, no, we want a wall. But we got it done. We got it done. That was not easy. That was a tough one. We had that party. Look, we built the military. We did money, coming in for military, everything. But the wall, they didn't want to give us 10 cents. And it's one of the biggest projects that we've ever built in this country. And it is exactly what Border Patrol wanted. I said, how about concrete slab? No, sir, we have to be able to see through it. How about concrete something else? It's much cheaper. No, sir, we need steel, concrete, and rebar. I said, oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Because in every spike, we have concrete, and we have very powerful rebar. But we got it's going to be done very soon. And it has given us, and especially during the pandemic where we really needed it, it's given us the safest border we've had in many, many, many decades. And people can come into our country, and we want them to come into our country, but we want them to come in legally, and we want them to come in through merit. We want people that can help our country. Last night, Joe Biden vowed that his immigration policy will be catch and release. He thinks it's great. You catch a criminal, murderer, rapist, you catch the criminal and you release the criminal into our country, and you say in 4 years you have to be back for a court case, right? But they never came back. We had an argument. It turned out to be right. He said, and then they come back. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't think he had a clue. He said, and then they come back and they go to trial. Isn't it wonderful? No, Congressman, not too wonderful, right? Catch and release, not easy. I ended it because what happened is nobody ever came back. I said last night, only people with an extremely low IQ came back. They didn't come back. Why would they come back? They're free in our country. So we ended that, and we ended plenty of other things like that. In other words, he wants totally open borders, as the Democrats do. And if you have open borders, if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. You no longer have a country. It's the most radical immigration proposal in American history, perhaps anywhere in the world. Other countries have borders. We fight for other countries to help them with their border, and then we don't protect our own border. No, it's not working that way. It doesn't work that way anymore. Number one, we're letting other countries fight for their own borders, which is also good. If Joe and Kamala are elected, it will trigger a tsunami of illegal immigration, the likes of which you've never seen. Millions will come from scores of countries all over the world to take advantage of us. No community in the United States will be spared. To serve his donors, Biden last night pledged mass amnesty within the first 100 days. He wants to give mass amnesty. Tens of millions of people. He wants to give priority to illegal aliens. My priority is to American workers and to America's great citizens. The American people will decide this election. It's the most important election we've ever had in this country. And you know, because of what happened 4 years ago, I used to be torn. I said, well, that was so big, it was so important. This is a more important election. A more important. And remember again, because I never say it, I don't say it enough, Supreme Court, and judges. We will have approved over 300 judges by the end of my first term, a record. Federal judges, including Court of Appeal judges, and 3 Supreme Court justices. And we'll have, hopefully on Monday, Amy Coney Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett. Hey, she's popular. People love her. She did fantastically. They were trying to hit her. How bad did Kamala look going against Amy? Right? And by the way, Bobby Bowden, you saw that? How good? He beat the plague. He said, I did it because I want to vote for Trump. He's 91. What a great coach he is. Thank you, Bobby. I'm in your territory, Bobby. I want to say thank you very much. No, Bobby Bowden. So he was really a hell of a coach. He won like 340 games. He won 2 national championships. But, you know, I didn't really know. But he said, no, he had it. He was very ill. And he beat it. And he said, the thing that makes me happiest, because I want to vote on November 3rd for President Trump. How about that? Bobby Bowden. Thank you, Bobby. Tough guy, great coach. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military, including $1.5 billion in Tyndall Air Force Base right after Hurricane Michael. That was a big deal. That was a deal where your governor came. And your governor wanted me pleased, because you know what I was going to do? I had a great idea, because it's a very big, and it's right on the water. And I said, you know, being a developer, I said, you know, this land, for an airplane, the way we make them today, they go so quick. You can be over this area like in about 2 minutes. What we'll do is we'll sell this to the developers for billions, right? Right on the water, right on the ocean, right? We'll sell it for billions of dollars. You don't need this good a location, because it was wiped out. And we'll build inward a little bit. We'll buy some land for 2 cents. And we'll build a new, beautiful airport, because it was really wiped out by Michael. I think it was by Michael, right? And your governor didn't like that idea. He wasn't thrilled. I said, look, this is a great thing. We can make a fortune. No, I don't like it. So I said, all right, the heck with it. I then visited a general and a colonel, and we had all sorts of people, and they all wanted to be there. So we rebuilt it. And now it's thriving again, right? It's thriving again. Yeah. Tyndall. We killed the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. They've been looking for him for years. We took out the mass murder of American troops and many other people. Soleimani is dead. Bad guy. Bad guy. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal. They paid $150 billion for nothing. They then gave $1.8 billion in cash. Cash, $1.8 billion. You ever see what that looks like? I recognized the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And instead of never-ending wars, we are forging peace in the Middle East. And did you see what happened today, right? Did you see it? Sudan, another country that just came into the deal. Peace, you know what this is? Peace in the Middle East without blood all over the sand. It turns out I'm the candidate of peace. Do you believe it? Everybody said Trump will be in war. Remember, we were going to go into war with North Korea. Whatever happened? We get along. I get along. I get along with him. He's a little different, and that's okay. I guess I am too. But President Obama said the biggest single problem the country has, this is when I first took office, sitting down, the 2 chairs, yellow chairs, sitting down. The biggest problem. I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. And he felt we were going to go to war in North Korea. In the meantime, where's the war, right? Where's the war? And it's just sort of all going to work out, you know? I said, did you ever call him? No. But actually they did. They wanted to meet, and they couldn't get a meeting. And we've met, as you know, and we just, look, I don't say what's going to ultimately happen, but that was 3.5 years ago. And I have a feeling it's going to work out just fine. Biden is a candidate of endless war and needless death. I did more in 47 months than Sleepy Joe Biden did in 47 years. A vote for Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, and a limitless future for all Americans. A vote for Republicans is a vote for the American dream, not the American nightmare. Look at all those people. Look at all of those people. Someday I'd love to be able to make a speech where there are no cameras. I can just speak and just relax. Take it nice and easy, have a lot of fun. Because if they ever catch you making even the slightest mistake, it's headlines. Headlines all over the world. You know, I said one thing the other day. I said, suburban women, please love me. Please. I beg you. Please. Because you see, suburban women, I have saved suburbia. I've gotten rid of the worst regulation. Thank you. Suburban women. Thank you. No, but I said kiddingly and sarcastically, how suburban women, please love me. Look, I've gotten rid of the worst regulation. It's a terrible thing what they want to do to suburbia. You're going to have crime. You're going to have low-income housing right next to your beautiful house. It's not good. And they said to me in a question from a fake news organization, why are you begging suburban women to love you? I said, I'm really not. You know, these are bad people, okay? These are bad people. But suburban women should love me. I'm the greatest thing that ever happened to them because I'm saving suburbia. And you know, these radical, crazy anarchists, you know, the next thing they hit, they've said that, they'd like to hit suburbia. With me, they're not hitting suburbia. They won't even get close to your house. They won't get close to your community. But with Sleepy Joe, suburbia will be next. You know who he wants to put in charge, overlooking this whole thing? Cory Booker. Cory Booker will be in charge of your regulation. So suburban women, I think you have to love me. But I love you. Over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world. And we will end our reliance on China once and for all. It's already started. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement. Do we love our police? Yes? I have the endorsement of almost every police organization in the country, including New York's finest, and they've never done it before. They've never done it before. I have Chicago police, Florida sheriffs, those Florida sheriffs. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them here tonight. Those Florida sheriffs are tough. They know what they're doing. Texas, Oklahoma, everybody. Remember the other debate I said, which debate did you like more? I thought they were both good. Which did you like more, the first one? Second? Well, there's two ways of doing it, the tough way or the nicer way last night. Two ways of doing it. But I said to him, I said, let me ask you, give me one name of one law enforcement group that endorsed you. He couldn't do it, right? Then I said, say the words, law and order, Joe. Just say the words. I won't do that. Say the words, Joe, law and order. He wouldn't do it, right? He wouldn't do it. So if that's what you want as your president, you're not going to have a country for long, okay? Remember that. We will ban deadly sanctuary cities. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, the right to life, and the right to keep and bear arms. We will always stand with the people of Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and their righteous struggle for freedom. We will stand with the people of Colombia. We're working very closely with them in their fight against the narco-terrorists. We will strike down terrorists who threaten our citizens. And we will keep America out of endless foreign wars. And when I said we rebuilt our military, $2.5 trillion, all made in the USA. We have the greatest equipment in the history of any military. We are the pride of the world, in a sense. We are, if you look at Russia, if you look at China, everybody's envious. We have the best rockets and missiles. Our nuclear is now fixed and ready, and hope to God you never have to use it. And the only way you will never have to use it is when you have it, and it's in great shape. Great shape. Hope to God we never have to use it. We have the super duper missiles, I call them, right? The super dupers that go 7 times as fast as the ones we had. They're now called old fashioned. right? We have equipment that nobody's ever had before. No country has ever had what we have. We have the F-35. We have brand new, which is super stealth, right? I asked the pilots, why do they like this plane? Well, sir, the enemy can't see it. I said, that sounds good to me. What do I know? But we have new tankers. We have new everything. We have the greatest new military we've ever had. And you know what? Let's stay out of the wars, but we'll build it up stronger and better, and we will have peace through strength. Now, we have a missile, though. It's hypersonic, it's called, and we have a missile so fast you can't see it. You can't shoot it. You can't do anything with it. And frankly, another group stole our plans during the Obama administration. They also have one, but ours is even faster. Ours is even more powerful, and we have things that nobody can even come close to. So we are the envy of the world in that way. And again, we're never going to use it, because when you have it, you don't have to use it. When you don't have it, that's when you need it. And that's never going to be our position. It's never going to be our position. We will never let that happen in our country. You know, when I first came in, a general said to me, highly overrated general, I have to be honest with you, highly overrated. He said, sir, we don't have ammunition. I said, no president should ever hear that again. And you know what? No president should ever go through what this president went through in this country. They spied on our campaign and they got caught. It was treason at the highest level. Let's see what happens. But they spied on our campaign and they got caught. No president should ever have to go through that again. We will end surprise medical billing. Require price transparency, already done. Further reduce the cost of prescription drugs, that's favored nations, down 80%, 70%. I'll tell you, Big Pharma's not happy with me. And we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. Oh. We will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. And NASA is now the preeminent space center in the world by far. And when I took over 4 years ago, it was a mess. It was a mess. A lot of things were. The ISIS caliphate was all over the place. We've destroyed 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, in God we trust. For years you had a president who apologized to America. What happened? Look, you would have, this was like the apology tour. Remember when he went to all these countries and he would apologize for us, for America. We don't need anybody apologizing for us. But you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great state of Florida. I have gone into battle for you each day over the last 4 years. Hasn't been pleasant in all cases. People say, how the hell do you do it? I do it because I love this country and because we're making changes like nobody has any idea. On Election Day, to continue our movement, I am going to rely on you. Get out and vote. We cannot take a chance. Get out and vote. Vote early. Bring your friends, your family, your neighbors, your co-workers. Even grab your boss and say, come on, boss, you're coming to vote. You got to vote. Most important election we've ever had. I really believe that. Because you have a radical left group that can do very bad things. You look at Venezuela, you look at other countries. This is just a massively large version of that if you have the wrong people in. Together we are going to make history once again. That was history. Remember that 4 years ago? Look at you. I'll bet you do. What an evening that was, right? Donald Trump has won the state of Florida, remember? Donald Trump has won the state of Alabama. Then right up the coast, Georgia we won, and we won North Carolina, South Carolina, Pennsylvania. Right up the coast we went, and then we won Michigan. Louisiana, you're up. We won Louisiana by a lot, right? They love Louisiana. I love Louisiana, too. Talking about helping them with hurricanes, right? I help them a lot. From Tampa to Tallahassee, from Jacksonville to Fort Lauderdale, and from Orlando to right here in Pensacola, we stand on the shoulders of red-blooded American patriots who poured out their heart, sweat, and soul to secure our liberty and defend our freedom, so important. We inherit the legacy of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, dug out the Panama Canal, raised up the great skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and from here, in this beautiful, gorgeous state that I love so much, landed our brave American astronauts on the face of the moon. We made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. It's coming. But not if you allow somebody to raise your taxes, because they're going to raise your taxes, and that's going to be it. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people, with your help, your devotion, and your drive. We are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Florida, we have made America powerful again. We have made America wealthy again, stock market. We have made America strong again, our military. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Thank you, Alabama. Thank you. Thank you.
The President of the United States wrapping up there in Pensacola.
Also, don't forget, Right Side Broadcast Network is almost entirely viewer funded, meaning we rely on your donations to keep us going. We're not like mainstream media that has their big investors and their corporate heads that tell them exactly.
Ili kuwa mwanafamilia bora wa Global TV, usisahau kusubscribe, like, kushare na kucomment. Baada ya kusubscribe, bonyeza alama ya kengele ili kupata taarifa kwa kila video inayopanda Global TV.